Why is English so hard to learn? You study and study and study, but still can't speak. How can you make the progress faster and finally feel confident in English? If you've clicked on this video, I'm sure you've asked yourself the same questions, and today we're going to find answers. My name is Anastasia and I am passionate about languages. I learned English by myself and I'm also learning German, Croatian and Spanish now. But today we'll focus on English. I studied to become a translator and I worked as both written and spoken translator. I got my TESOL teaching certificate and I taught English in Ukraine, in Thailand and online to students all over the world. English is a huge part of my life now and I even run this YouTube channel in English. But my journey wasn't quick or easy, and today I want to share how I would learn English if I could start all over again, based on my personal experience, based on the experience of my students, what really works. So if you want to learn English faster and smarter, stay with me till the end. Today I don't want to stop on my story and tell you about how I learned English, because I actually have a separate video about that on my channel. If you're interested, you can watch it here. Today I want to talk about how I would learn English, as I said, and we will talk about some mistakes I made and some cool things we could do today to learn English smarter and faster. One of the biggest mistakes is trying to learn everything at once. If I could start over again, I'd only focus on the vocabulary I need today, now, at this period of my life. For example, if my goal was to become a written translator and work with documents, I wouldn't study the names of the animals or food or, I don't know, shopping right now. I'd focus on the vocabulary connected to the documentations, to some legal procedures, I don't know, this vocabulary, right? Or if I want to travel, for example, my goal is to travel and to talk to people in different countries in English, I'd focus on the vocabulary connected to traveling, like how to book a hotel or how to buy a ticket for the bus or for the plane or how to order at the restaurant. Again, I wouldn't learn the names of the, I don't know, computer parts, for example, or something irrelevant to my life right now. Here you might say, okay, any vocabulary is useful and you might need it at any moment, and you'd be right, any vocabulary is useful. But I would analyze this period of my life. Where could English be useful to me? What kind of conversations might I have? I'd focus on what I need right now and I use it as soon as I can. And later on, I can build on it. I can learn more vocabulary, to have deeper conversations with people, to have this small talk about anything. But first of all, I learn what I need and what I can use as soon as possible, because the sooner you start using what you learn, the better it will stick with you. For a long time, I was just studying English without any real goal, and that was a huge mistake. Without a clear goal, you don't even know if you're even making progress. And setting goals like speak like a native or learn English, that's just setting yourself up for a disappointment. Instead, if I could start all over again, I'd break it down into small, realistic steps. Like, for example, in 3 months, I want to be able to read that book in English that is for B1 learners, for example. Or in 6 months, I want to be able to pass a job interview in English, and so on. Having specific goals speeds up your learning like crazy. After setting your goals, you need a clear plan. Obviously, since I didn't have goals, I didn't have any plan. I would just study anything I had to study at university or I could find online or whatever. But we set our goals now and we create a plan. And here you have 2 options. Option number 1. Find a good teacher, explain your goals to them, ask them to create a plan for you. They can guide you, choose the right materials for you, and track your progress. Option number 2, build a plan yourself. And guess what? Our good friend ChatGPT can help us with that. If you ask the right questions, you can get a really good plan from it. When I was studying English, I didn't have ChatGPT, obviously, and I was just studying random things, doing my homework from university, watching a show in English, reading something in English, casually chatting with someone. That's all not bad. It was good and it helped me, but it was just not structured. If I had a good plan, I'd learn English much faster. And I prepared a surprise for everybody who's still watching this video. In the description box to this video you can find a link to download a perfect prompt for ChatGPT to create a personalized study plan for you. If you try it, let me know in the comments how it works for you, and as a thank you, you can give this video a like and subscribe to my channel, and we are moving forward. Another thing I didn't pay attention to at first was accent. At school or university, nobody really taught us about accent. As a result, my English ended up being a strange mix of different accents. I'd say that now my accent sounds more American, definitely closer to American than to British English, but still, like, you could say it's not native-like accent or something like that. And if I could start all over again, I'd choose one particular accent, most likely the American accent, because it's most widely understood, and I'd work on it more, because if you learn English you don't pay attention to the accent, you don't pay attention to the vocabulary, like whether it's from American English or from British English, later it's really hard to change your habits. And no, I'm not saying that you should sound like a native, that is not the goal, but having a consistent accent in English makes your speech clearer and easier to understand. At the same time, it's important to understand different accents in English, because in real life you'll probably meet people from all over the world and you'll have a lot of different accents you'd hear in your life. When I studied at university, I memorized grammar rules just to pass an exam, but it doesn't work like that in real conversations. Think about your native language. You don't remember grammar rules when you speak, right? That should be the same in English. Instead of memorizing, I'd focus on understanding grammar. Why do I need this tense, or which grammar rule do I need to express this idea? For example, if I want to say that something will happen if something else happens, this is like, how do I express this in English? I'd need to learn the conditional sentences in English, right? I need to see how it works, which tense I use, and so on. And then I just practice the conditional sentences, express different ideas using these grammar constructions. And with time, you just do it on autopilot. And here I want to mention one resource that I was actually using when I was studying English. It's called Inquires, and I think this is the best resource out there to learn English grammar, because you can find a video on there for any grammar topic, and not only grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, anything actually. Just check this out, it's really, really good. Another mistake I made was waiting until I felt ready to speak. And spoiler, you never feel 100% ready. So start speaking as soon as you can, even if it's just tiny sentences. Speaking early destroys fear and builds real confidence. I know this topic is a bit controversial, and some people say that you shouldn't speak from day one, you should learn grammar rules and vocabulary first. Obviously, you would need to learn some grammar and some vocabulary to say something, but as soon as you can make those tiny sentences, I think you should speak, because personally, I believe that it is much better to speak with mistakes than to have perfect sentences in your head, but be afraid to say something because of the fear of making a mistake. And finally, if I could start all over again, I would immerse myself in English much earlier. I always thought that my English wasn't good enough to watch series, to read in English, to consume content in English and surround myself, talk to people in English, because like, oh, my English is not that good. That is a huge mistake. You should try and start doing it also as soon as you can. Nowadays we have lots of apps, we have subtitles, we have lots of things that help us to understand shows with subtitles, YouTube videos with subtitles. I don't know, you can read social media posts and follow influencers in English and so on. Even among my subscribers, some of you text me that you are learning English and you're watching my videos in English and you understand it, and that makes me happy. But yeah, start surrounding yourself in English as soon as possible if you haven't done that yet, because this is important. The sooner you do it, the faster you'll progress. Once I started really immersing myself in English, I started watching shows in English, I started reading in English, I started chatting with people in English, my progress just skyrocketed. It really works wonders. So I highly recommend you start this as soon as you can. So those are 7 things that I'd do differently if I could start learning English all over again. Let me know in the comments which points resonated with you the most. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss new videos about languages and self-growth. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye!